All right, good morning. We are live with first period.
Good morning.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and start question 301. Except I just realized I didn't save it. So let's save it real quick. And basically due Monday, if you're watching this over the weekend, is questions 301 to 350. So again, if you're in my class, this will be also posted online, so you'll be able to look at it online as well. Okay, so first things first, we have what is the equation of the circle below. So here's an example. At least they were kind enough to give you the points. Well, if we look here, sugar shoots. If we look here, we see -2, +4. So we know our center has to be the opposite signs. And the reason why it's the opposite signs again is we know the formula is x minus h squared. So really we're saying, well, x minus +2. And that's why the signs are switched. So we're looking for something that's +2, -4. So we know it's got to be in the fourth quadrant. Then it tells us that the radius is 4. I'm sorry, it doesn't tell us the radius is 4. It tells us the radius squared is 4. So the radius, yep, equals 2. So where the radius is technically, we're going to take the square root of 4 from both sides and get the radius of 2. Yes, ma'am.
How do you know if you're supposed to take the square root?
You always take the square root. Because the formula says, this is the official formula. The official formula is x minus h squared, and this is on the formula sheet, plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Nope, you're very safe. Do you want me to close the blind so you don't see it?
No, I want to watch what's going on. I want to see it.
Okay, so because this says radius squared is the equation, recording, that's why we set the radius squared equal to this number. And the way to get the radius is to take the square root. So we know the radius has to be 2, so it can't be option 1. Here, this point, this radius is 2. Let's see, is it 2, -4, or 1, 2, 3, 4? It is. So the answer is choice 2. So we don't even have to look at the other ones. I like that. There's nothing else on that side, so let's go up. A pentagon is formed below with 5 rays. It's any 5-sided figure. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5-sided. You will not have to do this problem. Cross it out. I'm going to cross it out here so I can remember. Because we don't teach it to you we don't teach you this. Triangle ABC has vertices A13, B01, and C40. Under a translation, A prime, the image of the point A is located at 4, 4. So here's A. A is 1, 3. We're trying to get to A prime. A prime is 4, 4 because it tells us. So here's A is 1, 3 and A prime is 4, 4. It tells us it's a translation. So because it's a translation, we know we have to add or subtract. So if we're at 1 and we go to 4, what do we have to do?
Adding 3.
Add what? 3. If we're at 3 and we have to go to 4, what do we do? Add 1. So what it wants to know is, under the same translation, where is C prime? So what we're going to do is we're going to write down our original C.
Oh, you're going to add the C?
Yes. Our original C is 4, 0. So we're going to just follow the exact same rule, which is add 3, add 1. So when we do that, C prime is going to be, 7, 1. So choice 1. That is a very fun problem. It's super easy. Exactly what I was going to say. You can cross out 304. We don't teach logic and geometry in Georgia. The negation of this though is the sun is not shining, which is true today for sure in Georgia. Page 2 for me, question 305. Another circle question. Holy moly, there's so many circle questions. I'm going to cry if you get the circle section wrong. Here we have whose center is -2, 3. What do you guys think it's going to be?
You can X out 1 and 2.
X out 1 and 2. Why am I Xing out 1 and 2?
Because the radius is 5.
Because
it shouldn't be
exactly.
5,
Okay.
It'll be 3.
Why is it 3?
Because a negative and negative is positive.
Exactly. Because x minus -2 is going to give me x plus 2. Okay, excellent. Okay, next. In the coordinate plane, how many points are both 5 units from the origin and 2 units from the x-axis?
5 units from the origin.
Yep.
1, 0.
That means 0, 0.
Oh, yeah. 1 because it's both positive, right?
Well, first we're going to go, remember that the locus of points from any one single point, so the origin is 0, 0, is always going to be a circle. So I'm going to draw a circle because I know it's always going to be a circle. And that circle is going to have a radius of 5.
Oh, it's asking how many times it hits the circle.
And then it's going to say, now we have to draw a line. The x-axis is a line. So because the x-axis is a line, a locus of points from a line is another line. So this says 2 units from the x-axis. Here's the x-axis. So we've got 2 units this way and 2 units below. So how many times did the blue and red cross? Yep, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All these lines, right? How did I give me a question? I mean, I can take it, but
yeah. I would be surprised if you get a lot of them. Which set of numbers represents the lengths of a sides of a triangle? This one, we just have to always remember, and I talked about this like one time during the trig unit. In order for something to be a triangle, when you add any of the 2 sides, it always has to be bigger than the third side. So what I mean by that is, if we look at number 1, we have to say, well, is 5 plus 18 bigger than 13?
Yeah.
Yes. Is 5 plus 13 greater than 18?
No.
No, so it's not choice 1. Let me show you number 3. If I add up, so this is what I do. I add up my 2 smallest sides. So my 2 smallest sides for choice 3 are 7 and 16. So I'm going to add up, well, what's 7 plus 16? Is 7 plus 16 greater than 24? Is 23 greater than 24? No. So it's not choice 3. So then I'm going to add up my 2 smallest sides for choice 4, 8 and 15. 8 plus 15 is what? 23. Is 23 greater than 26? No. So it's not choice 4. So it's choice 2, and it's choice 2 because my smallest 2 sides are 6 plus 17. 6 plus 17 is 23. Is 23 greater than 22? Yes, and that's why it's choice 2. Now, the trick is they might ask you, will it work for a right triangle? And the right triangle, you have to do Pythagorean theorem and see which one fits the Pythagorean theorem rule. So you a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. 308.
Will there be a lot of cosine in time like that?
15% ish. Yeah, we're gonna go over more of it. That's why after school is important because they also cover other things. Isosceles, and I always make sure what I do after school is different than what I do during the day, so it's worth your time to stay after school or watch the YouTube live stream. Either one. Okay. Trapezoid ABCD with diagonals AC and BD. So I'm going to draw a trapezoid. It might not be perfect, but at least it's a sketch. You should really, anytime it mentions a shape, draw a sketch, please. I beg you, please draw a sketch. If AC is 5x plus 13 and BD is 11x minus 5, What's the value of x? Anyone remember how to do this problem? We did a couple of these before. What do you think we probably have to do? But then what's it going to equal?
360.
Only if it's degree measures. That's when we do 360. Whenever you have diagonals, they are equal to each other. Excellent job. Okay, so all you're going to do is write 5x. Yep, because they're diagonals, diagonals of an isosceles trapezoid are equal. So for this problem, all we're going to do is set them equal to each other and solve it.
Would that work for like if they add it and then for a triangle?
Diagonals of an isosceles triangle.
If it's an isosceles triangle, the sides equal. The two congruent sides are equal. But in an isosceles trapezoid, the diagonals are equal. And technically, I should use the term congruent. Let's be real. So these cancel. So I'm left with 13 equals 6x minus 5. What do I do next? Add the 5. 18 equals 6x. Yeah. X equals 3. Now, pay attention to what it's asking. It is asking for the value of x. So I'm done now. The answer is going to be 3. Ooh, holy moly. That was very large. I still hit it on the highlighter tool. So the answer is 3. If it had said, what's the length of the diagonal, then you would take the 3 and substitute it in to get the value. Okay. So far, so good? Yep. Usually I try to do like 12 problems and then take a break. So we'll finish this page and then we'll take a break.
We got like dinner. We got some. Yeah, we got some.
I did something.
We did the whole page. This is a page right here. That's why I said 60.
No, I'm talking about till 312.
This is the page.
I'm talking about the math.
I'll look at it separately, okay? Make a note so I don't forget. 309 says, what is, I'm going to make this a little small. No, I guess we'll leave it. What do these represent? So always put it in y equals mx plus b form. There's another way that you can do it, but you'll never go wrong if you put it into y equals mx plus b. So what do I need to do with this first equation to get it into y equals mx plus b?
X on the other side.
Yep, I need to move the x to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 1/2 x from both sides. Thank you for coming today. So I've got y equals negative 1/2 x. No, Sean, you can stay there. That's fine. Plus 4. Thank you for moving them. Okay, so what's my slope right here? What's my slope for this one, the red equation?
The red equation.
What's the slope?
Oh, negative. I mean, 1, 2.
Yeah, negative 1/2. Now we're going to do the change this one. How am I going to change this one? Let me make the difference smaller.
3x over there.
Yep. First, I'll move the 3x. Excellent. Yep. Excellent. Jayla's on fire. I love when you're on fire. Sugar shoots. 3x. Then what do I do?
And then you divide everything by 6.
Yep. Divide everything by 6. These cancel.
And then that'll become negative 1/2. So there's
Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. Because it's 3 over 6. So then, is it the same line? In order for it to be the same line, this would have to be negative 1/2 plus 2, and this would have to be negative 1/2 x plus 2. It's not, so it's not 1. What's the slope of the blue? Negative 1/2. So if we compare these are parallel lines. In order for it to be perpendicular, it would be the opposite reciprocal slope. And then in order for it to be neither parallel nor perpendicular, then they wouldn't match at all. This next one, we know our formula is x minus h whoa, holy moly, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. And we know that from the formula sheet.
So that's basically the
So
first thing.
first we're just going to plug in. Yep. Y minus k. So then I'm going to put in the -2. So I know this is going to be x plus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared. So right away, I'm assuming these are negatives, I can cross out 1 and 2. Now I have to do the distance formula. So I'm going to do the distance formula in a quicker way. The distance formula is on the formula sheet. The way that I do the distance formula is I set the numbers one on top of each other. I subtract the bottom, and then I add going down. So this is -8. 3 minus 3 is 0. Wait, what did I just do wrong? It should just be 8. Oh, thank you. Divide by 2. Appreciate it. Okay, so we'll keep figuring out the diameter. So now I'm going to be left with 64 plus 0 equals 64. We have to take the square root, so we get the distance equals 8. But that gives us the diameter. We need the radius. I missed that. Good catch. So it says diameter. So because it gives us that distance is, yep, because that distance is 8, we have to divide it by 2 to get the radius. So the radius is 4. The formula, though, says radius squared. So that makes it 16. So it's choice 3. So I'm going to say what I did one more time. First, I looked at this formula, and it says the diameter of the circle has these endpoints. So, oh.
Well, you put 16. You said, oh, it's just like.
I completely messed that problem up.
So is it 4 or 3?
Oh, 4 or 3.
I have to find the center first. I have to find the midpoint. Whoops. We'll try again. I'll make sure to delete that part. No, because I don't know the answer. Well, I know the answer, but I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's got to end up being 1. I bet it's 1.
Imagine people that wrote it.
So because I didn't read the question, I missed the word diameter. So I'm going to start the video right here. Okay. So let's look at 310. We see that the diameter has these endpoints. So because it's diameter, we have to do the midpoint formula first to find the center. So what I'm going to do is I need to go. I'm sorry, I screwed that up. That's my fault.
It's okay.
So I'm going to do -2 plus 6 because the midpoint formula is add the x, divide by 2, add the y, divide by 2. -2 plus 6 is 4. 4 divided by 2 equals 2. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So I know my center is at +2, +3.
Okay.
So right away, because it's +2, +3, I know I'm eliminating choice 3 and eliminating choice 4. And then what we did right for the distance formula, that was all still correct. So we still could do -2, 3, subtract. That was still correct. There was nothing wrong with that. And then 4 squared equals 16. So it's choice 1. Okay. So how I did this is I did the distance formula. My quick way is I put the 2 points on top of each other, subtract the bottom point. -2 minus 6 is -8. -8 squared is 64. 64 plus 0 is 64. The square root of 64 is 8. But that told me what the diameter was. So I needed to have the radius. 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. And then the formula for a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. So that's why I had to do 4 squared to get 16. So I missed that one.
Okay, but you got 64, but there's no thing. What?
So you have the 64. The square root of 64 is 8. But the 8 represents the diameter of a circle. So I divided by 2 to get the radius. And then the formula says radius squared, so that's why I had to square it. 2 more, and then we'll take a brain break. Which equation represents the line perpendicular? So I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. The first way is when it's in this form, I told you that you can easily get the slope by doing the opposite of A divided by B. So that's when this is AX plus BY equals C. So all I'm going to do is the opposite, A is 2, B is 3. So the slope is negative 2/3. Now, you also can do it the longer way. The longer way is, here's 2x plus 3y equals 12. Subtract 2x from both sides. That gives you 3y equals negative 2x plus 12. Divide everything by 3. And you would still get the slope of negative 2/3. It wants perpendicular, so we need a slope. The slope that we need has to be positive 3/2. Why is it positive 3/2? How do we find perpendicular slope?
Reciprocal.
Yep. Change the sign, flip the fraction. So now we have to see which of these is going to give us positive 3/2.
Okay.
Well, I know I'm going to look for the ones that I know are wrong. So if I divide number 3 by 2, this is going to give me negative 3/2. So it's not choice 3. If I divide 4 by 3, that's going to give me negative 2/3, which is the parallel. So it's not 4. If I divide, it's not 1, because if I divide by 6, that's going to give me positive 2/3. So it's choice 2. And it's choice 2 because when I divide by 2, that gives me 3/2. Last question, then we'll brain break. If the endpoints of AB are these points, what is the length of AB? Is it really that easy?
Hold on, what?
Okay, so distance formula, -4, 5, 2, -5. Okay, actually, let me give you the full distance formula for those people who like formulas. The official distance formula is on the formula sheet. It's x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And that is on the formula sheet. So you can do it that way. I'm going to continue doing it this way. If you subtract everything, so I'm going to subtract this and subtract this. -4 plus -2 gives me -6 squared. And then this becomes just adding, right? 5 plus 5 is 10. And then I do it, the math. So I've got 36 plus 100, which gives me 136. And then I take the square root.
Wait, how did you get
Because minus and minus is plus. The opposite of subtracting is
Why can't they
adding.
give us?
Oh, so you're like doing
It's
I
11.66.
was wondering.
Yep. So if you do that, you get 11.66. So we know it's not 2 and we know it's not 4. So then what we'll do, well, choice 2 or choice 4.
Oh, because 2 is 2.
And then what we'll do is, let's just do the square root of 61 because that's easier to type in the calculator. That gave us 7.81. So we know it's not choice 3. So it's got to be choice 2. Oh, sugar shoots.
What you think?
2 square roots of 34, choice 1. Whoa. I was like so anxious to like stop recording that.